afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge. You can find us on television two different ways. Locally to North Alabama, channel 182 on Charter Communications. And you know what? We're an affiliate. Absolutely. I love being on Abundant TV. You can find Abundant TV on the web. You can also find us on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And something else, you can find us at the radio station. Our station, which is IC Radio media, and download the free apps, by the way, and listen 24/7 to all the beautiful, wonderful music we have that airs other than the shows. And so there's just a number of ways you can find us. We appreciate you. I know you could be doing anything else, but you're really going to love my friend right here. This is our next guest, Suzie Stover, and she is a designer, a stylist. What all do you do, Suzie? You're with Ethan Allen.
I am with Ethan Allen. Been with Ethan Allen for 20 years now. And I do a little bit of everything. Mostly I do, interior design, help people make their homes beautiful, which is really fun and just a gift from God to be able to do that.
Absolutely. But you know something? I've got a feeling you guys are going to come visit us sometime in Alabama.
I sure hope so.
And well, I've got a feeling when you walk into my house, you're going to go, oh my goodness.
I never do. I look at a house and I see what it can be.
Okay, well, I will need that.
Just like God does with us. He looks at us and sees what we can be. So that's kind of a neat thing to be able to look and say, ooh, that's going to be gorgeous when we finish with it.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've got the talent. So now I know you've been to school and that kind of thing.
Yes.
But are you kind of born with the talent as well?
Well, I'm basically an artist. Always have been an artist and loved art and color and design. And I actually am an oil painter, and I do a lot more than oil paints. I do just about any medium. Oil paints are my favorites, my favorite medium to do. But that just has always been there. And I developed in, my late teens, early 20s. I went to Rhode Island School of Design and studied there, and it took off from there. So it's been fun.
Well, folks have been missing you, so I'm so glad we're going to get you back on a regular schedule.
Yeah.
I know that you've had a lot going on. Your career has really taken off, and so we're just lucky to get any kind of time we can with you. We've talked a lot about color and that kind of thing, but I wanted to ask you, because what we do is we put fillers out there and let folks know who's going to be on the show. So some of the response has been the farmhouse look has been going on for quite a while. Do you see that fading away, or are we still hot with the farm look?
Well, I'm here in the mountains in North Carolina, and that happens to be a really good look here too, because we have a lot of farmland as well as mountains, and sometimes it's shabby chic, sometimes it's there's a lot of more contemporary going on, especially in the metropolitan areas, but the urban areas and the outskirts farm areas are definitely more casual and rustic and what I call shabby chic, which is a fun design and just kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, more eclectic.
That may be a little more my style. I like chandeliers, and I like using a palette of maybe blacks and whites and grays and maybe a little bit of red touched in there as well. But I also like some of the old rustic stuff. So what style would that be?
That's it, eclectic. Pulling different styles together and making it work. Making it blend together so that you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but when you put them together, it is a wow look. And that's my goal. That's what I like to tell my clients. When I finish with your home, I want it to be a wow. And you walk in and you go, this is really me. So I like to really, as you said, that's your particular style. So when I meet with a client, I like to go in and if I go to their house, sometimes they come into our design center, but I talk to them about what they like. What colors do they like? I usually look at what they wear. A lot of times that will reflect on what their home is like.
The black with the silver here.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing though. And when I go into their home and I see what they like. Then sometimes we just update it. I'm working with a client, a family right now, a young couple with 4 little children, and they really like contemporary and more modern look, but we're taking it back a step. The home they purchased is not modern, and has gorgeous arches and has a fireplace with a big stone fireplace. So it's also kind of a different eclectic look. So I'm pulling some of the more contemporary along with a little bit more soft and comfy style. When they came into the store, the design center yesterday, what I it was the first time that the wife had come into the store. He had come in initially to kind of check things out, and then I went to their home, and then they all came back in. And she wanted to sit on sofas and try them and see, ooh, how comfortable is this?
Yeah.
And actually, the ones that he had selected all had a tight back and were a little more formal. And for their living room, they have a TV on one side and a fireplace on the other. So they're having 2 sofas face each other so they can look either way. And they can all pile onto the sofas. We're doing a really large sofa. And that way she wanted something that she could snuggle into. So what we ended up with was something totally different. And it's fun. It's really a lot of fun.
I remember back in the 1960s, this big couch, or not a big couch, but the couches just did not look comfortable. But that was the look. They were just, and I remember my grandmother went to it was called Haverty's. We had one in Alabama, Haverty's.
We still have one here. Yep.
Oh, my grandmother loved Haverty's. And so and it's really nice looking, but my granddad sat on it and he said, Jeannie, send it back. And he said, I got to have something I can feel comfortable in. He said, I feel like I'm sitting in a straight chair. So they sent it back. But that was the style back then. It became a style,
Yeah. And one of the things that when you talked about being stiff as a chair, everybody likes something different. Some people really like, I want to sit up straight and have really good support. And other people say, oh, I want to just sink back into it and snuggle into it and be able to enjoy it. So part of what I do is really kind of get into their minds and see how they live and what their preferences are, and tailor make their design according to their preferences. So that it's a lot of fun.
I like the design. I like the way you design, because it's not necessarily about what's in style so much as to make the customer feel better about what they like.
Right. And, grays have been in for a long, long time, and they're exiting now. They're moving out. We're still using grays and a lot of them, but now we're seeing have a lot of pinks. As a matter of fact, the couple I was just talking about, we're reupholstering 2 big barrel chairs that they have, and she loves pink. And they've been able to he's let her do their master bedroom with pinks, and it's beautiful. So we're reupholstering those chairs in a really pretty pink fabric and very soft fluffy pillows. But that's what she likes, and then it's just so fun to get to be what they like. And pinks are coming back in, the pastels and the bright colors. We have such a variety right now of what's in, and it's a little bit of everything. So we see some plaids coming back. A lot of blues are coming back. Blue has been kind of blues, and the jewel tones have been out for a while. Well, we're seeing a comeback with those, which is great, because some people, especially people that have the older style that they still prefer, which is more traditional, then those jewel tones are just wonderful with that. But
now, what do you mean by jewel tones? What's that?
The jewel tones are the sapphires and the emeralds and the garnet, the burgundies and the navies and the blues. So those are the jewel tones. Actually, my jacket is sapphire, and that's one of the colors that's coming back in.
I love blue.
Yep, and it's great, and it's nice to be able to have such a variety. There was a long time where everything was beige and browns, and then it went to gray. So now it's kind of incorporating everything into what we can accomplish and what we can do.
Do people, when they design, I'm thinking about the White House. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you see, there's a blue room, there's a red room, there's a different. For a
Mm-hmm.
while, people were doing. If you wanted red, then everything was red.
Right, right.
Do people incorporate different colors for different rooms? Do they let it blend, or is it just whatever you want?
It really depends on the person. Some people, I love blue and I want everything blue. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are, I have another client that has a beautiful home, and it's a older home. It's a stucco, and it's a very, very French looking. And she has a variety of colors in her home. So there's reds, the kitchen is more in the, she has wonderful wallpaper that we're keeping because it's like a hand painted scene in her dining room, and we're just painting it's on 2 walls and we're painting the other walls, but it's more of a very soft green and blues, and so we're carrying that into the kitchen. But if we go into the living room, there's reds and beiges and blue, not blues, more creams and different colors, and that's in the a red rug, red based oriental. So when we go upstairs, then we're doing more blues. So their house is specifically very different in each room. And some people like everything the same. So, I love red, let's do red everywhere. I love blue,
Mm-hmm.
let's do blue everywhere. So that works. And as you said, I gear it to my client's taste. I never do my design. I always do their design.
That's what it's all about too.
It
Yeah,
is.
my style has changed because well, I bought this old house back in the 1980s, and the house was
Hmm.
100 years old. It was built in 1886. Big
Right.
old, like 3,000, almost 4,000 square foot house.
Hmm.
Big 15 by 15 rooms, and then 12-foot
Hmm.
ceilings, the whole works.
Right.
Beautiful ornate ceilings, and it's
Hmm.
a beautiful molding that was original to the house. It was probably there back in 1885. Now,
Hmm.
during that time, I wanted a different color room. In every room, like one was blue, one was red, one
Hmm.
was
Sure.
different colors. But I've changed. Maybe I'm mellowing a little bit. I don't know
Hmm.
what it is. I'm
Yeah.
like maybe the blues that make you think of the ocean.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those
Yeah. Those are
great.
the blue greens and the really pretty. They're very soothing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Those are very popular right now too.
Uh-huh. Oh, I didn't know it. So I
Yeah.
just accidentally stumbled on that,
That's
didn't I?
right. That's right. See, you're right in the time, right with the times.
That's unusual because usually I'm way on the other side of it.
Mhm, mhm,
Let's talk a little
mhm,
bit about kitchens.
mhm,
Because I was watching a program one day, and so they were redoing a house. It was built in the 1950s or 60s,
mhm,
and so they were they had a lot of ceramic tiles, really good shape, but they were hot pink, they were baby blue, they
mhm,
were different colors,
mhm,
and the kitchen had granite countertops, but they
mhm.
were purple, which was popular back in
Woo!
the whenever in the 80s. What do you do when you have a nice piece of stone, but the color's wrong?
That would be a challenge. That would be a challenge. h- um, without pulling everything out, of course, the granite, there's not a whole lot you can do with granite, but with tile, you can paint tile.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you could paint it, and there's a specific type of paint. Have somebody, I will tell you what really would be good is if you want to tone it down, you could sponge it and tone it down
Yeah.
so that you could go over everything with a couple of sponging. I did a lot of sponging when I was younger, and most of our rooms have faux finishes, and that's what sponging is, one of the styles of faux finish. And that's something that you can, and you have a glaze so that it would go over the tile. Okay, you'd have to get a compatible paint that would go over the tile, but that's a real challenge. But that would be the one thing I would say could be done. The granite, there's not anything you can do with that.
You
You'd
still,
have. You're stuck with it, or you've got to replace it. Yeah.
I believe it.
Purple's a great color, and we have a lot of purples in now, which is great because I love purple.
I do too. Well, you can do decorations like maybe have a flower arrangement or something that would blend in and maybe use other colors, couldn't you?
Exactly. You can always do that. You can pick up fabrics for like placemats or for napkins if you have an eat-in kitchen. Lots of pull out the colors with accessories like a ceramic spoon holder, or different things that you would have on the counter. Definitely flowers are always my favorite. I almost always have flowers somewhere in the house, fresh flowers.
Well, I keep saying purple because we have a listener who does have purple, and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's granite. Couldn't she kind of turn it into the look of maybe an Italian village or something?
Yeah.
Have grapes.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's where that hand painting comes in. If you have somebody who, like me, I love to do that, and I've done some faux finishes and some. Actually, I did. Well, it was a big job. I did a mural on a wall in a client's home, and it actually was a reproduction from one of the fireplaces. Walls in the Biltmore house. It took me 266 hours to do it. It was various 8 feet wide and 20 feet tall, and I was up on scaffolding, which was really interesting. I don't do that anymore. That was years ago.
So don't ask.
Yeah, right. But doing a base coat over those tiles that with a paint that's going to stick to the tile, and you may even have to rough up the tile and sand it before you do that so the paint will stick. And then you could do a mural over the paint, and that would be fun too. All kinds. Yeah, there's actually all kinds of things that you could do. That would be fabulous.
Well, we lucked out on this. My grandmother was more of a neutral type person.
Right.
So we bought my inheritance. We bought the old farmhouse with the acreage that my grandparents had. And so we were really lucky. The hot item back in that day was using tiles, but she used a neutral color. This is kind of a brownish, tannish, lighter brown color. So it's been easy for me to decorate because they're in great shape. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, with neutrals, you can do anything and pull any colors into it, which is fabulous.
Yeah. It's so exciting, though, to go behind my grandmother and see the older I get, the more I'm finding my styles a little bit more like hers.
Right. Yeah, and it does change sometimes over the years. I'm a little more, when I was younger, I went with the same colors, but in the lighter, more pastel tones, but now I go into the deeper tones. So yeah, and it changes. But I find that people, and I think I've said this before on your show, that people usually are consistent. If they've loved warm tones all their life, they are not going to go to the cool tones, or vice versa. But an interesting thing, the clients that I have that have said, "Oh, I want to do it different. I want to do what's in style now," and I've allowed them to do it. I said, "Okay, are you sure?" And they said yes, and then they've gotten it in there and said, "This is really not making me happy." So I learned early on to really encourage them to stay with what they love, even if it doesn't seem to be in style right now, to stay with what they love, and they're going to be happy with it, and it's not going to go stale on them. Now, I do have a few clients that like to mix it up, and they like to change their furniture all the time. They say, "Oh, well, I move things around, and I like different color pillows for different seasons." And if you start with neutrals, then you can do that and get away with, so it's winter, it's Christmas, it's spring, and with the neutral base, accents can really make it fun and change it up a little bit.
I like bright colors, but you just answered my question. I was about to ask you about that. So because I like but I like pops of huge color too.
Right.
I like big old pretty flowers and stuff.
Flowers and pillows and things like that. Accents, that you change yearly, or seasonally, I should say. That is really an important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some Christmas cushions, and basically all that they have a zipper in them. You just unzip
Yep.
it, put the cushion in it, and then wash
Yeah.
it. Put it up for next year.
Yes. Yeah. Those are called pillow casings. And that's great because you can use the same insert and have different casings that and that's a much more economical way to do it. And if you have 20 pillows throughout your house, or even
Which I
12,
do.
having different seasons in all of those pillows, that really takes up storage space. So
Yeah, and
that's a
then I'm bad
practical
to
way.
eat us. I like eating snacks when I'm watching TV,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
really awful. I'm worse than a 2-year-old about
Hmm.
spilling something on it.
Yeah.
So I can
Well,
just take that out and wash it, and I'm done.
yeah. Yeah, when I do custom pillows, I always have zippers in them so they can dry clean them. Most of our fabrics are dry cleanable, but some
Mhm.
are machine washable. And if you have trim on it or fringe or something, then definitely you'd want to have it dry cleaned. But
Yeah.
that's a great option. Hmm.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We're
yeah.
talking a little bit colors. Let me ask you about this. And I think we've mentioned this before, but it's been a while since you've been on. But
Hmm.
let's talk about colors. Can colors actually affect your mood?
Oh yeah, definitely. Red is a very stimulating color. It stimulates your appetite. It makes you, energetic, and
Wait a minute. I'm
it
more
does.
hungry.
How many restaurants do you go into that
Red.
they're decorated with red? That's
I
right.
didn't think about that.
Yep. And yellow is a warm, sunny, fun color.
I like yellow.
The blues and the soft blues and soft greens are very soothing. I do a lot of bedrooms in the soft blues and greens because it's a soothing, relaxing color. So and it really depends on your personality type also. If you're really high energy and more of a person that needs to be calmed down, then that would really make a difference in what color you use to make you more calm. You wouldn't want to do red. You'd want to do something that would be more calming.
Okay, let's talk about therapy just for a second. So
Sure.
let's just say a couple, people go through, hard times sometimes. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
money issues or whatever, and
Yep.
they're fighting. So
Yeah.
maybe for decorating, what color should a couple use who would like to keep the marriage going, but kind of calm down a little bit?
Neutrals. Go with neutrals and softer colors, because that is really going to help. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, not only colors, but what about floral arrangements?
Oh,
Can
definitely. Yeah. And that's where you could get a pop of color in floral, because you can change that with a floral arrangement. And it gives a little bit of brightness, but it's transient. So it's not going to stay unless you're doing silks. If you're doing silks, you want to be more calming.
Uh-huh.
But I use jewel tones a lot in my own home. In our own home, we have a lot of the blues and reds, and I use those in my florals. But I find that very soothing, because if I have a predominant blue, it's going to calm the red down. So
Uh-huh.
that is something to think about too.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get a hang up of something as you're a kid. I
Yeah.
remember the first time Phil had some roses sent to me, like red roses.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't tell him. He just saw the look on my face, and I was like, well, see, my dad was a minister. So we
Uh-huh.
went to every funeral home, every
Mm-hmm.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
in the congregation or whatever. And
Right.
I just didn't know I was doing it. I associated red roses with funerals.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was just
That's
kind of weird.
interesting.
I'm out of that now because now I know why. Now I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
send them on, baby. Send the
Yeah.
roses.
We love those flowers. That is great. That is great. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you about that. Okay, I love sunflowers and daisies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
that's it's happy. It's
It
because
is.
mood and whatever. Are there times of the year you would not use a sunflower or a daisy?
Nope. That I don't think so. If you love it, then you need to use it. And there's so many wonderful artificial flowers, silk flowers, that you can pretty much, even though they would not be available as much in the winter, you can use, if you like them, have them all year round and have silks. Although now all our grocery stores everywhere has fresh flowers,
Right.
and a lot of them are seasonal, but you can find some things like that even off season. Yeah.
Well, every year you'll probably find this is a shocker, but every year for Christmas, and I'll have to send you a picture. Every
Okay.
year for Christmas, I decorate with sunflowers
Oh, that's great.
in the Christmas tree.
That's fabulous. See, you have adapted your personal taste to incorporate it into the season, and I love that. That's
Oh,
great.
and there's great big huge ones. So I decorate, and tell me if I'm doing this correctly.
Hmm.
And I think you've mentioned this before. You decorate with odd numbers. So I
Hmm. That's
have like
correct.
5 great big huge sunflowers.
Perfect.
And I'll put those in the tree, like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one in the middle, and then
Mhm.
little sunflowers around it with the
That's
line.
perfect. Yep, you did it right. Yep, ones, threes, fives, always odd numbers, 7, whatever, however many, if you're doing a lot or if you're doing a few. That
Mhm.
is kind of a foundational part of design.
It seems to fit right. You know,
It
when
does.
you got one and then you got others
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
spiraling around.
Yeah, I think the only thing I can think of that I would use 2 would be candlesticks if you're flanking an arrangement, but then you're making it a threesome because you have an arrangement and a candlestick on each side. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be the same thing. Using a sculpture and then candlesticks or a floral arrangements and candlesticks, you've gone to three items.
Mhm.
So, but if you see a grouping of candlesticks, and we've got these really nice big decorative candle holders. So doing either 1 or 3, 2 doesn't work unless you're flanking something else or doing them separated.
What do you say about? Because I love to go to maybe secondhand stores, that kind of
Hmm.
thing, and
Yeah.
just find unusual, odd things and then
Yeah.
decorate with it.
Yep.
So I love leopard skin, and
Hmm.
but I don't want too much of it. You know what I mean? I don't want
Right.
it like all over the walls and everything else. So I found this really pretty coat, and
Hmm.
I paid about $20 for it or something like that. And it was retro. It was back in the 1960s.
Hmm.
It looked like
Yeah.
something my mother would have worn back
Right.
in the 60s. And I decorated with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's fun.
I put it in
Absolutely.
the bedroom, and so there you see like this vintage coat, with
Hmm.
leopard skin in the bedroom. And I mean, it's like it's too small for me. I couldn't wear it. And
Hmm.
so I told Phyllis, I'm going to get this right here. And I said, it's like a petite, tiny, somebody that weighs 10 pounds more or something.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
said, I never can get in it, but I've got an idea for it. I'm going to use it for
Hmm.
decorating the house. And he goes,
Yeah.
are you serious? And I said, yeah,
Hmm.
I think it'll work. And
Yeah.
I love it. It's like, you look right into it. That way I've got some decoration.
Hmm.
So let me ask you a question. Okay. So now my husband could care less I mean, it's all up to me with decorating. He doesn't care.
Right. Right.
But there are some husbands who do. They want their
Hmm.
input on it. But
Hmm.
now I
That's
do
right.
keep him in mind. Like when we decorated the bedroom, I didn't want it to be all fluffy,
Hmm.
stuff, girly and all this kind of stuff. So I put a little bit of him in it. So I decorated with gray walls,
Right.
got black curtains, but then with my part, we put a chandelier in there, and then
Hmm.
I've got the animal skin going.
Hmm.
It's kind of like he feels like he's not in a foo-foo girl room,
Right.
and it's a masculine and it's
You've got a
feminine.
combination of both, which is a really good idea because you are taking into consideration his needs and hit what he likes. I think that's great.
And
I
I
think
kind of
that's
like the look. I think it
yeah,
looks,
yeah.
I kind of fell in love with it. So,
The other thing you can do, we're talking about consignment shops and things like that, is to alter. If you find something like that leopard skin, you can make pillows out of it. You can do all kinds of things, take it apart and
mhm,
or even hang it on the wall. There's so many
mhm.
things you can do. And oh, I have a coworker that loves to do that, and she's always shopping in the consignment shops and antique shops, and she says, oh wow, look at this treasure I found. And she finds buttons and things that she decorates clothes. It's a lot of fun. And also you can do that in your home, like pillows, decorating pillows with buttons or ribbons or something is a fun thing. And especially like on a bed, if you're doing a custom bedding and you want to do kind of personalize it. So those are fun things that you can do.
Oh my goodness, you're going to die when I tell you about this. This was at Shepherd's Cove thrift shop. It's a
Right.
hospice thrift shop. I
Hmm.
found a mahogany mink coat
Ooh.
for $10. It was vintage. And what
Mm-hmm.
was happening is it's ripping apart from the seams, but I had to get it anyway. I said,
Wow.
it'll probably fall apart if you wear it. But I
Yeah.
want to use that. So I haven't figured out how to do it, how to use that
Hmm.
rating as well.
Right. Well, again, you could make it into a throw. And take it apart, and you could the arms, you could even make bolsters out of the arms.
Wow.
Stuff
Oh, I
them.
didn't think of that.
Stuff them, and then put it, make a throw out of the base of the body, and line it with put a backing on it. You can find a faux fur that maybe is the same color, or even like a satin or a velour, and make a throw and some bolsters. That would be fun. Yeah. That'd be great on a sofa or on a bed, on anything.
$10 is all that costs. So I asked a friend
Love
of
it.
mine.
You gotta love it.
She does upholstery, and
Mm-hmm.
she used to work for a furrier
Mm-hmm.
in Chattanooga, Tennessee, a long time ago. She said back in the 60s and the 70s. She said, "Do you know how much that would have been?
Oh
You know
yeah.
how much that would cost us?" She said, "A mahogany man," and she
Right.
said
Oof.
several $1,000s.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so go ahead and check out your thrift stores, especially Shepherd's Cove. Okay, look at
Mm-hmm.
Albertville, Alabama. We're gonna have to go into a commercial break. Suzie Stover is with us right now. Ethan Allen, but I'm gonna tell you what, she got her own ideas. Absolutely. So let's go into a commercial break. We're gonna be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest My Pillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere My Pillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have My Pillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing My Pillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales look forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Fort Payne and Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by the locations in Fort Payne and Gadsden. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser to help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member of FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge. You can find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find us on the radio station, icradio.media. Download the apps. You can listen anytime you'd like. But right now, we're talking to one of my very good friends. Her name is Suzie Stover, and she is a stylist designer with Ethan Allen. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you, Donna. It's just a delight to be with you.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, time flies. We've got only 23 minutes left. I hate this. We need a 3-hour show.
Yeah,
just to get off the ground. These are so much fun. We're talking about designs and colors and that kind of thing. So I wanted to ask you another question, okay? Because we have this farm and we are finding all kinds of things on this farm. And so we were out in the barn one day and I thought they were horseshoes. They were mule shoes.
Oh.
So I asked Mother, I said, did we call them Papa? My granddad was Papa and Mama. And so I said, did Papa have a mule a long time ago? And she said, yeah, when he bought the farm back in 1930, whenever that was, he had an old mule. He didn't have a horse at that time. And the mule, helped plow gardens and all this stuff around here. So I have actually made a sun catcher with that.
Oh, nice.
And I used some old jewelry that used to be my grandmother's. And just some old pieces, because it's not the kind of jewelry I would wear, but it was really in style back in those days.
Right.
It's real pretty glass jewelry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really pretty. And so I took it apart and just made almost like a wind chime out of it.
Oh, that sounds great.
I got to send you a picture. It's weird looking.
That's
I'm
another
probably the only
picture.
person that would like it.
Another picture, yeah.
But you can use the old and decorate it and make it new.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is being really intuitive and creative to do that, and to be able to see what is possible with pieces like that. That goes back to going to consignment shops, because you can always find fun things there that you can use and just create something. Yes, I need to have a picture of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. I've been making jewelry since I was 12 years old. I used to make love beads back in the days, and I sold it to school. So I made a little business out of it then.
Yeah.
And so now I'm not so much into jewelry making as I am wind chimes and sun catchers and stuff like that. So
those are very popular right now too.
Let's talk about outside. I'm just biting at the bit right now. I can't wait to go outside and start working out in the yard. That's my dream. I love doing that. It keeps me alive. So what are some popular accents? What are some popular things that people are doing for outside decoration?
Well, you can always use little statues and things like that. Of course, keep it very tasteful, because it can get a little bit of a overkill on it. But yeah, that, of course, planting flowers and bringing color in with flowers is fabulous. If you have a patio or a porch, then outdoor furniture is great to decorate with. And there's so many wonderful sunbrella and performance fabrics available that can be purchased by the yard if you sew, or you can find, like Ethan Allen carries quite a few different fabrics. We have outdoor furniture, and we can put all of those fun fabrics on. So there's lots of things you can do. I love flowers. So if you have the space for flowers, that I think, and different flowers that will come up, perennials that will come up at different times of the year, that can be really fun. And once you have a perennial, if you take care of it, then it keeps coming up year after year, and you don't have to keep replacing it. So of course there's some beautiful annuals too. So That's what I really like, color, and I love. We don't have a big yard. We have just really a little back deck and a front stair area, but I love pots, and decorating with pots and putting
Ooh.
plants in pots is so fun. And the pots can be all kinds of fun colors. So that is another thing to do. Different style pots. There's some very contemporary straight line pots. There's the old ceramic pots. There are all kinds of things.
Yeah, they're making some pretty looking plastic pots.
Yep, they are now
They
too.
just look like stone.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
hmm Now, let me ask you a question. This is also about decorating outside. I love growing food. It's just a passion of mine. Really, a little bit more than flowers. We're
Yeah.
beekeepers, so we have bees, and we like to
Mhm.
have plenty of those little pollinators going around. Lots of flowers.
Right.
What are the odds of decorating with food, say like with strawberry
Oh,
plants? Because they go
absolutely.
low to the ground or put them in a pot.
Yeah, in a pot. I've seen the hanging pots where they have different. It's not just one opening at the top. It has different openings, and you can just put the plants, individual plants, in the different ones. Those are really, really pretty. But I like pots or raised beds. The railroad ties. You can do all kinds of fun things with decorating outside.
And then there's water fountains.
Oh,
Oh, I
there
love
are
waterfalls.
such a variety of water fountains available. Yeah, all the hardware stores and that type of, Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, those carry all kinds of fun things. And that you can decorate and decorate with stones. You can do integrate florals, or also greenery. Perennial greenery is great, or like your evergreens are fabulous because that looks good all year round.
hmm Yeah, just anything growing around the deck
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, and grasses. There's such a variety of different grasses, and some of them bloom beautifully. But
hmm
yeah, that's another thing you can use.
And herbs. I have pots
Herbs.
full of herbs, and then
Yeah.
when I'm ready to cook, I just run out to the deck and
Yes,
pop
snip them.
off some chives. I'm ready,
That's right. That's great. That's great.
and it's
Yeah.
healthy. It's good for you at the same
Very
time.
good. Yeah, I like that too. I like growing basil and different and parsley and things that you can snip.
Oh, and it smells good.
It
When
does.
you walk outside on the deck, you smell that
Hmm.
beautiful aroma. And
Yeah.
and rosemary is good for you. Rosemary is good for your memory.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I love using that in my cooking.
Yeah, I know
And
you're taking baths in it
yeah, yeah.
for your memory.
There you go.
And all you have to do is get the leaves, just kind of mash them just a little
Mash
bit.
them and they smell really good. I know. That's
Mm,
fabulous. Yeah.
smells heavenly. Let's go back in the house now. Let's talk about the kitchen for just a few minutes.
Okay.
For years we've had, the stainless steel. I've got stainless steel.
Hmm.
What's some maintenance on keeping fingerprints off of and I'm worse than any child. I mean, I
Hmm.
can have hand lotion and then touch the door and then there you go.
Right, right. There are some products I think that are like a coating that not will inhibit, not stop, but inhibit
Uh-huh.
your fingerprints. And I think that I'm not sure what brands they are, but I know that they are available. So that's something that you could look into. And if you go to a like a Lowe's or Home Depot, there should be somebody there that in that department that can suggest what is going to work best.
So
Hmm.
there is a maintenance for that.
Yeah,
So
there
you don't
is.
put my fingerprints all over the place.
Right.
Now, stainless steel still hot right now.
It actually is. I find that there's a lot of homes that are being built with customized, a little more the higher end homes that are customized, and there's a face on the refrigerator that is part of the cabinetry. I see a lot of homes being built with that. But older homes, there's all time. We have black appliances that work really well.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of variety, but I see a lot of the stainless. I see a lot of the black. Not so much the colors anymore. Just very much more simple and kind of more blending in with the kitchen rather than standing out.
So no more avocado green, harvest gold. That's not going to be coming back.
No, been there, done that. And that's not in right now.
I was watching a design show one day, and there was it was a young couple, and they actually wanted avocado green.
Wow.
And they were into it. They were, of course, they were dressed kind of like the 60s. There was something about that couple.
Well, and there we've had, furniture that has been in that era. It's kind of going out right now. We had it for a while, and now they've discontinued it and gone on to other things that are contemporary. But yeah, the George Jetson time is just, that's great. That all that fun furniture that comes out of that era, it was fun, but I think that it's not as much popular right now.
Are people still trying to hide the microwave? They didn't want it they wanted one, but they didn't want it sticking out.
Yeah, I think that's really a lot of the newer construction, they're built into the cabinetry. But of course, that's not the norm, because most people don't have new construction. So they're really, some of them are over the stove and some of them are on the counter. I think it's pretty much varies depending on the age of the house and what the if it's a higher priced home, in the upper developments, then those are customized, and I think you find it more with customized houses. Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about the cabinetry. I know with cabinets, I've got cabinets. That was another great thing about my grandmother. She wanted a big kitchen. Now she was a cook, and I am too.
Yeah,
so it's almost a gourmet kitchen. I mean, I really looked into this. Cabinets all the way around.
Right.
And,
I love that.
we kept the cabinets. If a tornado comes through, the house will be down. The cabinets will still be there. I mean, my Uncle Ernest built those back in the 60s.
Wow.
And he put a lot, and it took him forever to do it, but he put a lot of care into those cabinets. And he was just he was a master cabinet maker.
Wow.
And people all over the place wanted him to build their cabinets. But they were kind of we painted them, is the only thing.
Right.
White, kind of a kitchen white color.
So that's updating it. Yeah, sure.
And I like it better. It's a little bit brighter. They were kind of a pine looking,
right? Sure.
Kind of back in that day, and I did learn a lot about that. About how to do that. That was a learning curve right there.
I'm sure it was. Challenging.
But what can you do with old cabinets? You want to keep them, they're made really well. Can you just update maybe the doors?
Yes, and handles. Changing the hardware on it and because a lot of them are the old timey hardware. So updating that with more of a clean line hardware, that would update it right as it, just by doing that without anything else. Painting them definitely updates, because the old wood cabinets, we're thinking about doing that in our kitchen. We have the old oak cabinets from the 80s, and it's time for a change and new hardware and painting them. I've already picked out my paint colors. So that's something that will update an older cabinet. And doing 2 colors. A lot of people are going with, a deeper color on the bottom and a lighter color on the top. And that's really, really looks good. Or if you have an island, doing like a black or a color on the island and doing everything else in a light, white or ivory. And that really looks good too.
I've got to send you a picture.
Okay.
So my grandmother always had the kitchen table, like a smaller table. She had a dining room with the big table and all that. And then in the kitchen was a smaller table with 4 chairs. And that's where we really hung out. The kids always ate there while the adults ate in the other place. We were not allowed in there until we were like 20 years old. So because there was carpet and everything on the floor. And so we took somebody in the family took the table and chairs. And so I told Phil, I said, I don't want a table and chair in here. I want a kitchen island in here.
Right. Perfect.
I want it to look rustic. I want it to look like old pieces of the barn and tin. And he's looking at me like I'd lost my ever-living mind. And I said, no, I've got an idea for it. So I drew it off for him, told him what I wanted. And there was some old barn wood. And so he used that. I had to send you a picture. Yeah. And then I found this really neat tin. It was at the back of the barn. I found all kinds of decorating ideas in just at the barn.
Wow.
And so there was a real pretty side to this tin, and then there was this part that had all these funky looking colors with rust and all this on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he just assumes I'm going to want the pretty side. So he puts the pretty side, and I said, I like it, but that's not what I had in mind. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, you wanted the other side? And I said, it's beautiful. It's this beautiful patina and everything on it.
Yeah, sure.
So the kitchen kind of has this, like it's a modern kind of look, but then I've got that sitting right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Oh, I bet it looks great.
It's odd looking, but it's just, again, you
Mhm.
walk into the kitchen, you're going to say, Donna, what were you thinking? But but it just looks, it reminds me of the barn. It reminds
Right.
you.
Good
Now, my
memory.
grandmother wouldn't have liked it. And that's the
Mhm.
one thing I've done in the kitchen. My grandmother would go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I like it.
And it makes you happy. That's the thing. That's the important thing. Doing things that may not be what's in style, it may not be what everybody else likes, but if you like it and it's your home and you do it because it makes you happy, that's what design is all about, coming into a room and being happy with it
Mhm.
and not uncomfortable. I find a lot of people that are, oh, this is what is in, and then they're uncomfortable with it because it's not making them happy. So
Mhm.
I really strive to make that happen, so that we just love our home. You did, what you did is exactly what we love. So, and that's so important. And that's what you're doing in your home. And that sounds great. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait for you to see it too. But that's another thing I like about you as a designer. And I want to talk to our listeners right now. If you're looking for a designer who actually listens to you
Mm-hmm.
and then they make it work at the same time, that's what you're really looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like the museum look.
Right.
Mother
Exactly.
is the museum look.
Right.
I'm afraid to walk in her house. I'm afraid I'm going to break something with my big purse. So
Right. Exactly. Ooh.
I say, you just come here, okay? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going in
Yeah.
there to the museum.
Exactly. Yes.
And then some people don't like that look. So everybody kind of has and I like the way you look at the person when you're sitting down with them.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
really
you're looking at their
important.
jewelry. I mean, just looking at their jewelry would be a good way for you to decide.
Right. Right. Yep. And just talking to somebody and asking them the right questions. Well, what makes you happy? What do you like to see? And I look, and we have over 1,000 fabrics on our wall for upholstery and different things, and plus a plethora of books from different companies. So you look at those and you say, okay, I'll set them free on the wall. Say, pull out what you like. Just go and have fun and pull out the fabrics that you really like. And that gives me a perfect idea of where the direction we're going in their design.
Yeah, and also the budget has a lot to do with it as well, I'm sure.
I'm very aware of that, and I keep that in mind, and I let them know, okay, this fabric's going to be, very, very expensive. If you love it and you have it and it's in your budget, then go for it. If not, let's find an alternative that mimics it, but maybe it's less expensive. So
Yeah.
that's all part of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, and this is why you need Suzie. I mean, you really do for your designer.
I would love it. I would really love to work with different people, and I do a lot of homes not in my area. I have done homes all over the country where I've not even been in the homes. We work with a video picture of the home. I'm doing a home in Miami right now. I've done a lot of rooms in it. We're redoing several of the rooms right now. And it's great because my client sends me videos and she walks around and shows me everything. And she also has a home here in North Carolina, right near where we are. So I've done both homes, and it's really fun. And I've done homes in California and Texas and all over the country. So it's great. I don't have to be there to do your home, which is nice.
That's good. Now, you also have designed homes in New York, so I've got to ask a question about this. So someone in a penthouse overlooking the whole New York City, are they going to have a different design, or everything kind of the same, or designs different in different parts of the country?
Well, again, you have to work with the architecture and make it work with that. You can't just have all contemporary lines and go and put a Victorian theme in there. But again, it's integrating what you have architecturally to work with again, the design that's going to make your client happy. So there are things you can do that can pull the two styles together. And that's something that I enjoy doing too.
Yeah, and you brought up such a great point too about because of technology, there are probably more helpful than having to get on a plane and fly to somebody's home lives on the other side of the country.
Right.
So, you know, because of technology, you can use the videos and that kind of thing.
Right. That is absolutely true.
Now, let's say for your client who lives in Miami, do you find contractors who come out and help with them if it's something like building a room or cabinetry?
Well, I don't get involved in that. Usually I'm doing the design and not the construction. This home that for the lady in Miami, the couple in Miami, is already built, and we're just renovating the room. One of the rooms we're doing has all built-in desk and shelves and bookshelves and things, and we're removing that so that it's going to be a bare wall. So I'm redesigning the whole room from one style to another style. So she will find a contractor to remove that and to paint. Right. Another couple I'm working with right now, we just ordered furniture for their home that's being built in Vero Beach, but they are taking care of the construction. I'm just doing the interior design part of it with the furniture. So I always give input for paint colors and things like that, because that's a very important thing. And not everybody, not everybody can do that. I have paint fans of different paint companies in my car, so that when I go to somebody's home, I pull my paint deck out. We can say, okay, we need to make this wall this color and to go with what we want to do. And usually I like to pick the furniture and the fabrics, because that's really going to dictate what color we do on the walls.
Do you ever have maybe a man who just got a divorce and he wants his new apartment or whatever redecorated? Do you ever get those calls where they really know nothing about decorating, but they just depend on you to kind of help them with that?
I actually do a lot of that too. I mean, it's just such a cross section of people and lifestyles that, and that's great, because I love to start from scratch with somebody like that and guide them and find out what they like and kind of guide them. And then they're so happy and they're feeling better about themselves because they're living in an environment that's going to make them happy. And again, making them happy with what they're living in, where they're living, is all important.
Absolutely. I went to school with this girl, and of course she, come from, not a wealthy background, that kind of thing. So she marries this guy, and so they've got great income coming in. And I'm gonna have to tell you, Tracy had no taste, none at all. Our decorator. Then she started wanting to throw all kinds of money into it. And this is back in the 1980s. And so the decorator had to calm her down and say, look, don't spend every dime you've got. Do you feel like you have to do that sometimes?
I have, if I have somebody that really doesn't know, again, I like to work with them. I usually can get through to them and understand where they are. Again, pulling fabrics. What do you like? Getting them to show me what their taste is an important part of doing the design. And if I can do that, I look and take notice of what they're wearing, go into their house, and what don't you like about where you're living? What do you like about it? Okay, well, let's kind of bring it around to a space where you're really going to be enjoying it.
Perfect. Suzie, it's time to go. Thank you.
Wow. That was gone by fast. Gone by too fast.
Enough time. But thank you for being with us. This is Suzie Stover, and she is your designer. So, Suzie, how can folks get in contact with you?
Well, you can always call me on my cell number, 828-713-5891. Leave a message, and then I'll get back to you. Or you can connect with me at my personal email, which is SUSIE-STOVER007@yahoo.com. That's Suzie Stover 007@yahoo.com.
And if you don't worry, you can write this down. Everybody's got my number. Get in contact with me, and I'll just make sure she gets your message.
That'd be great.
Again, thank you for being on the show. Tell Jim I said hello.
I sure will. Thank you, Donna. You have a wonderful day.
You too, hon. And
Thank
you
you.
have a great one too. We'll be with
I
another
will.
awesome guest coming up next. Bye,
Okay,
Susie.
thank you. Bye-bye.